It's the show that's going to get you into the holiday spirit, whether you like it or not. It's the Mike Sasson Show, live on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, or on TuneIn Radio, or live on Facebook Live. I'm looking at you right now through the computer. I'm looking deep into your soul. Also, you might be listening on the several podcast formats that we broadcast from, namely SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play. My name is Mike Sasson. I am your host. I named the show after me so I wouldn't forget its name. Also, I am with the greatest producer in the history of Internet radio. Again, first ballot Hall of Famer in the Internet Radio Producers Hall of Fame, which I think they have moved to Binghamton, New York. It's outside of a Denny's. It is Alex Clemens. Alex, how are you doing this fine Sunday evening?
Good. I think my intro just gets longer and longer every time.
Well, because your distinguished record becomes longer and longer every time.
Right.
Like eventually, when you it's like when you're a comedian early on, someone comes up to you and they'll sit there and say, "Hey, how would you like to be introduced?" And typically, you don't have credits. You don't have things that you've done.
Right.
But then eventually down the line, you learn that, hey, I performed in this and did this. Eventually, when this show reaches its 10th, 15th, 20th year, most of the first half hour of the show will just be listing all the things that you've done.
I don't really like that.
You don't really like that?
I prefer to stay humble.
You stay humble? Stay with the people? One time I had
common folk.
I opened up for a comedian that had it was funny because it was two comedians. They were from out of town. The feature was huge. The first person who went up was huge on making sure that I got his credits right.
All right, what were they though?
Well, he at one time served Adam Sandler a mega melt in New York. He one time waved at Jerry Seinfeld and he didn't wave back. Something like that. And so the headliner, who had grizzled old comic, had been doing it for 40 years, eventually sat there and heard this and comes up to me and I go, "So how would you like to be introduced?" And he just goes, "Just say comedian, travels all over the country." And I'm like, "Oh, that's all you want?" And he sits there and goes, "Mike, if within about 5 minutes I'm not making them laugh, they're not going to give a shit what I've done or what I've been or who I know."
Yeah, I don't think that anyway you should have the credits, because really that makes no difference to how I view you when you come on, But there are it's not this guy should be. I feel like I should have no preconceptions of who you are.
That's one of the things whenever I get introduced is sometimes you get introduced by someone who's new and they don't know how to introduce people. So they it'll be an open mic and there'll be 20 people and they'll be like, "This next comic is absolutely hilarious. This next comic is hilariously funny. This next and you just eventually A, you've lied to me about 10 times already. B, they can't all be hilariously funny. And I always make the joke that it's you want low expectations. You want it to make it that exactly if someone comes in and the easiest intro somebody could ever give somebody is, "Hey, this is their first time they've ever done stand-up comedy."
Yeah, because then they always blow your mind.
Because you're like, "Oh my God, that's the first thing." There was actually a comedian who just went up to Boston. His name is Chris Skiva, who he's been doing comedy for about a year here in Pittsburgh, and he got on a showcase up in Boston, and somehow it got mistranslated, and the way they introduced him was, this is the first time he's ever done stand-up comedy. Now, he's done comedy for a year in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He didn't correct them. He went up and did his act for 10 minutes, and again, blew everyone's mind. They're like, "Oh my God, you're a natural at this. This is incredible that you've done this." And now the reverse is when someone comes up to you, and this has happened, when someone will be like, "Yeah, I know. I worked in New York. I worked at the the Cellar a little bit, and I wrote for Jerry Seinfeld and George Wallace, whatever." And then they get up and they demand that you introduce them, this next guy has been on David Letterman. This next guy, Evening at the Improv. This guy has been on Comedy Central. This guy's been on this. And then they come up and they just eat it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the expectation level is so insane that there's no way to meet it.
Well, I feel like every time you have a comedian from outside of anywhere, you're like, "Oh, we brought this person from so-and-so," you automatically expect more, no matter where they're from. At least in my opinion, I do that.
And one of the things I've always found is that New York comics sometimes when they come to town expect that it's going to be a little easier, especially if they don't really get work up in New York. And they come to Pittsburgh, they're like, well, in New York, I was an okay comic, but here in Pittsburgh, I should absolutely annihilate. And then they get up and do their 10 minutes, and it still isn't going well, and then they eventually just hate the town. So that's typically what happens. Speaking of comedy, so this past weekend I had two good shows, and I'm very appreciative that I was able to perform there. But I had two uniquely different, weird experiences. The first one was on Friday night in Stowe Township, McKees Rocks area, and they redid this old movie theater, really cool, called the Parkway Theater.
Aww.
And they like in the front there's like a bar.
Is it an old porn theater?
I don't know what they showed, but they had like pictures of the Godfather and Spartacus and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I mean, there's a good chance that they showed porn there at one time.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point of having a movie theater if you don't show people having sex? That's just how me and Alex feel about it. But so I'm sitting there and I get into the theater in the back, and it's a nice little theater. Maybe it's about 50 people. And since it's a movie theater, I guess someone would thought it'd be a nice idea as people are walking in to show a movie. Again, as a comedian, like you talk about like how you want to set something up, maybe not the best idea in the world, but I'm like, okay, whatever.
Or maybe show a really shitty movie.
Maybe a really shitty movie. Well, they didn't show a really shitty movie. They showed Goodfellas.
Yeah, because why... what other movie would you even think? Maybe that's the only one that they like had and like could work and stuff.
But the thing, first off, if someone said to me, Mike, what's your favorite movie? At some point during the day, I would probably, it changes from certain movies, but a lot of times I would say Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So I walk in and I'm seeing on the big screen Goodfellas. I'm excited as heck. I'm like, holy crap, I get to watch Goodfellas. I sit in the theater and I start watching it. And then the crowd starts kind of walking in, and they have their drinks. They're ready to see a comedy show. What do they see? They see Goodfellas. So then they sit down in their seats, and they start watching the show. They start watching Goodfellas and everything like that. And the thing that got me was they had to eventually end the show because Goodfellas is a 3-hour movie. They ended in the middle of the movie. And everyone, and I included, was kind of like, "Aw, Goodfellas is good. We should just all sit here and watch Goodfellas."
Like on repeat?
Yeah, let's at least watch it till the end. There's multiple
ones of them, right?
No, they only did. Godfather. See, okay, now you're getting it. Well, here's the thing. If you talk about like the mob, there's a trilogy.
Which one is the one that people think is a Christmas movie, but it's not? Is that Goodfellas?
Are you talking about Home Alone?
No. We had this discussion last Christmas.
Die Hard.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
That's an action movie, not a mob movie.
I don't know things.
Okay, you don't know.
These are no movies that I would ever see.
I like it. But just so you know that there's typically what viewed as a trilogy in terms of mob stuff.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay. Godfather.
Uh-huh.
Then Goodfellas. Then The Sopranos. Those are like the big three that you'd watch.
Well, yeah.
So to have one of those trilogies, and again, Goodfellas is a violent mob movie.
It's just a weird thing to think about playing before a bunch of comedians come up.
Yes. And it kind of made it a weird kind of vibe.
Did the whole movie play?
Well, we stopped it in the middle.
No.
So everyone was kind of getting into Goodfellas, and then they sit there and go, hey, now time for jokes.
Yeah, I would hate you too.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, and I'm not good to begin with. Now I got to fight against this.
Right.
So that was Weird Occurrence 1. Now, Weird Occurrence 2 was I had a show on Saturday night in Lawrenceville at the Unplanned Comedy Theater. You have seen me perform there.
Right. I like that venue.
Yeah, it's a very nice venue. Had a good show. Garrett Teitelbaum, who again, you can listen to Alex's podcast. It should be coming out in about 2 weeks. She did an episode of Glad to See He's Working, which again, he was very complimentary of Alex and the show that she did.
Because I'm great.
Because you're awesome. But it's in kind of an industrial area of Lawrenceville. It's around a decent amount of warehouses and stuff like that. So right off, like it's kind of closer to Sharpsburg and that area. So it's not near like the main drag of Lawrenceville, but still a cool place.
Yes.
So I'm trying to find a parking space because there's not like a big like parking lot to do this in. And I drive, and all of a sudden my lights come onto this, to this dark alley, and in this dark alley is this guy, and he's surrounded by, no bullshit, 10 cats.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dudes.
No, not 10 dudes. That would have been a weirder occurrence.
With these cats being around him?
Yeah,
or he was scared.
No, he was feeding them.
Oh.
So he was just sitting there, but like it was when the lights come on him, he kind of like put his eyes up, and I'm just kind of like, this is not something I expected to see.
Was he a normal-looking man?
He was kind of he didn't look homeless or anything, but he didn't exactly look like he was
an alley man.
He looked like if a guy was in an alley and like there was like a like fashion line to wear while you're in an alley, he would be wearing appropriate clothing.
Okay.
So again, there's a guy covered in, has 10 cats around him. That's kind of a weird thing to see, just like on a Saturday night in Lawrenceville.
Did you park there?
I was scared, so I drove away and I parked in the Shop and Save parking lot, which I have never done. So then I walked down the hill to eventually, and I see Shannon Norman, who's been on the show, great comedian who was going to hang out a little for the show. And I go, Shannon, did you see the guy with all the cats? And he kind of looks at me like weirdly. He goes, yeah, it's the guy who feeds the cats.
Don't, Mike. It's totally normal. God.
Yeah. What's your problem?
Who else is going to feed the goddamn cats?
Yeah, seriously. There's a bunch of stray cats in Lawrenceville, and he just feeds them. And I'm like,
He's doing a good thing. And you just looked at him so weirdly.
Yeah, but he was literally like, you don't know about the guy who feeds the cats?
Joe. He feeds the cats.
Yeah, it's Tony. He feeds the cats. Yeah, he watches Goodfellas, and then he feeds the cats. And so then I go like, oh, so you've met him? He goes, yeah, I just had a thing with him like about an hour ago.
A thing with him?
I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I saw one of the cats that he was feeding like walk away and get attacked by a raccoon.
Oh, no.
And so I said to him, hey, the cat's being attacked by a raccoon. And the cat guy sits there and goes, yeah.
Oh, Joe.
And, I'm like, Joe, the cat guy. And even that's what Shannon thought. He's like, you feed the cats. You're like their guy. You help them. If the cats are being attacked by raccoons, you should defend the cats. And he's just like, no, I just feed them. That's all I do. I don't do anything else.
I just provide for them. That's all I can do. God.
Yeah. What else do you expect me to do when I do that? And I just thought that was a very uniquely weird thing to see is, let's just call him Joe the cat guy, just in front of the theater. And the fact that apparently everybody else who hangs around there is fully aware that Joe the cat guy is, the king of the cats of Lawrenceville.
Yeah.
But, but he ends his relationship at some point. But okay, do you ever feed animals in your neighborhood or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Only the pigeons.
Okay, but if you were starting to feed the pigeons, and then eventually a hawk would attack one of the pigeons, would you feel any connection to be like, stop that hawk?
Yeah, I'd feel bad, but I don't know what I would do.
Just yell at him. Just be like, hey, you hawk, stop it.
But what if it got more aggressive and then attacked me?
Well, you
never know what hawks are going to do.
You're a human being. You have defense mechanisms versus hawks. You have mad ninja skills. I don't know. You have a broom. I don't know what you do against a hawk.
Hawks are pretty mean, man.
Okay, well, maybe a less mean animal, a crow.
Ooh, crows are mean too.
Okay.
They'll peck your eyes out.
Okay, well, name an animal level that you would defend one of the fed animals that you would do against.
I don't know.
A pigeon attacking another pigeon.
Aw. That's just sad.
Okay, but would you defend?
They're like homies. I guess I would defend them.
Yeah, at that level, you would defend them.
Yeah.
I would at least scream going, hey, stop that. I
feel bad for the pigeons, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, they're just birds that just so happen to live in the city, and everyone's like, ugh, they're disgusting. But really, that's just what they're used to. It's like if we said that about people who live in New York. Ugh, they live in the city, those city dwellers. A lot rats.
A lot of people do them. I've already said that I think squirrels are just rats that have better publicity. Oh,
squirrels can do good things.
Like?
I don't know. Nuts and things.
Nuts. That's not good things. That's just they're cuter than eating rats.
How do you know there wouldn't be a surplus of random nuts everywhere if we didn't have squirrels?
Well, and
we'd trip over all these nuts all the time.
If you would feel there would be an overabundance of nuts if
we didn't have squirrels.
Is that all squirrels do is eat nuts?
I'm sure they do other things.
Okay.
You mean is that all they eat or is that all they do?
Yeah, do they just gather nuts and deal with nuts?
Yeah, and then deal with other squirrels.
Okay.
What do we do?
I don't know, do radio shows, and then after this, I might go get some nuts. I don't know.
And we gather nuts.
Yeah, then we gather nuts. Boom, win, victory.
Maybe they do radio shows and we have no idea. We should start listening to that Squirrel Network.
I believe there might be some squirrel networks that we could actually look into. I think there might be some squirrel podcasts. If you have a particular squirrel podcast that you want me and Alex to listen to, absolutely send it on.
Yeah.
Speaking of squirrels and nuts, a lot of sexual harassment recently.
No.
Lots of scumbags.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Total scumbags.
Please enlighten me.
Please enlighten you. The latest scumbag to get caught. And by the way, this is when you realize that you actually have effect on your parents as much as they had effect on you.
Why?
My mom, the day that Matt Lauer got pinched and he got fired from the Today Show, texted me and said, "Hey."
Matt Lauer texted you?
Matt Lauer texted me. And said, "Yo, can you help me out?" And I'm like, "No, you're a scumbag."
Oh, your mom texted you.
My mom texted me that said, "Hey, Matt Lauer got fired for being a scumbag." Now,
so you're rubbing off on her by saying that she's saying scumbag.
Yeah, she's not a huge scumbag sayer, but because I think she understood that I like the word scumbag.
She's saying it now.
She's saying it now. So first and foremost, a lot of guys have come out, and it's almost like there's this point to where like privately guys are like, well, what's going on? There's like every other day there's another guy, and what's going on? And that's exactly how they sound. So I thought, you know what can I do? And what can we do, Alex, to help guys navigate this new world and not have scumbags? Now, we had the first one where we sat there and said, hey, just treat every woman like they're The Rock. Apparently, that's not working.
No.
But the thing that I've also, and this is really what gets down to it, is if you have a $28 million a year job, just treat people like you would want to be treated.
What if these people are listening to the podcast and they are trying to change their lives around, but then someone brings up something that they did in the past and they're like, oh, I can't even fix that now, and now like I'm fired, and I was really trying to change my life around.
Okay, how far in the past would you say that someone would had to have happened? Like if they repented, like if they sat there and they
repented.
They went up to their people and went, hey, I know I acted like a scumbag back in like the mid 2000s, but since then their scumbag ways have gone away.
See, that's what I think you have to go up to those people that like you did those things to and like sincerely apologize to them. And if that's not enough for them, then like, okay, I can understand that like if you did something so horribly that apology is not enough, then like, okay, I understand that you can like come out about whatever. But like, I don't know, I feel like if you just sincerely apologize and you can prove to them that you're changing your life around, I don't know.
All right, so let's say that you're in a situation, you're at work, and a person who has authority over you, your boss, says, hey, Alex, I'd like to meet you in my office. You walk into the office, he pulls down his pants, he shows you his genitals, you go, I don't really like that, and he walks out. How long until he can apologize would you accept an apology from him from showing your genitals?
What do you mean, like how?
Like how long? Because if he like apologizes,
how long
like
afterwards?
Yeah, if he apologizes 10 years afterwards, are you just like, geez, that's a little too late for that?
I probably already like forgot about it by then.
Okay.
But I mean, I think I'd still accept the apology if he was trying to like change things. If there's a reason for it, I guess. What would
be an acceptable reason of why he tried to show him your penis?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that there's a reason for that. I'm saying that there's a reason for him to change his life around.
Has a man ever whipped out his genitals and you'd been like, thank God, that's exactly what I want him to do? Like, and I'm not talking about like a boyfriend or something like that. I'm talking about just a random guy.
No one has ever just randomly whipped out their genitals.
Neither me. I don't know. Maybe we're the only two that this doesn't happen to.
I guess so. I don't know why people aren't doing it. I feel like I would be a decent... not that I would be a decent person to do that too, but like, I feel like I'd maybe be a little more...
open,
understanding,
yeah,
and I'd be like, no, like let's work on things.
Yeah,
why are you doing this?
Yeah, we need to work on inventory right now. We can't do this.
What's happening?
Is there a part of you that's a little bit like, hey, I thought this would have happened to
like
me
jealous?
A couple times by now?
No, I'm okay with it.
You're okay that's never happened to you?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay, but I
mean, if it could happen to me and I could take it away from some other person, I would do that. You know?
Okay.
If like that guy showed me his junk and then like I helped him out and that way he didn't show it to some other girl, you know?
I think that would make you a good person. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this question. If, let's say, that guy showed you his junk, you went back out to, like your girlfriends out in the, whatever, and you sat there and said, hey, do you know Tony showed me his dick? And they're like, yeah, he shows everyone his dick. Would you feel a little bit like, and we did not discuss
like I'm not
this?
Special? Oh.
Let me ask, okay, first off.
Why didn't you tell me?
Why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
Would you feel a little that?
Yeah, I probably would.
If something like that happened to where I knew that the guy that I was working with, or the person, the woman, whatever was working with, was that kind of scumbag, and everybody knew it and didn't key me in on it. Like, hey, if he invites you back to his house, he's gonna prove something.
You should watch out.
You should watch out. I think a little scumbag, and then also, I mean, you hit on something. If the person does it for everybody, then you're right. You just don't feel special.
Yeah. But obviously there's much worse things happening to women than, people whipping their junk out.
Apparently not. This has been most of the news for the past couple months.
I think this is it.
This is
just
the last.
What people are comfortable talking about.
This is the last thing that possibly things could go with. But now, we've constantly talked about the scumbags of the world doing this, and I kind of analyzed it my own self, like outside of the fact that, it's wrong to do that. What makes me so upset and why I keep bringing this up? And so it really came down to this. Anytime I hear about somebody that has reached the pinnacle of any profession, especially the entertainment industry, because that's something that I'm looking to someday do.
Right.
When you don't respect that, and treat that job as a privilege, it really pisses me off. Because, like, Matt Lauer, again, decent looking guy, but he didn't do anything that super special. He just looked at the cameras and said, hey, this is Matt Lauer today. Right now, we're going to have Tony, the Italian chef, cook up an Italian dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like he's curing cancer here. It's not like he's LeBron James and he's, one of the, a physical freak. There's lots of people that can do that.
Yeah.
But yet somehow he finagled it to where he got a gig to where he got paid $28 million a year to do this. And he didn't respect it enough to not fuck around and show women his junk at his job.
Yeah.
I think that's what really gets me. Like with Louis C.K., same thing. I someday hope to reach the pinnacle of broadcasting, comedy, whatever. And I'd hope at that point I wouldn't feel that I'm so special that I can just, treat the job as like, oh, I'm so irreplaceable.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. And that's the thing that gets me. It's like, I'm just going to look, okay, scumbags in the universe, you're easily replaceable. There is still a Today Show today.
You know what I found really interesting about it is that I feel like it was one of the first times where people, because this has been happening a lot, it was the first time that people were like, because they did the announcement on the show. Did you see it?
Yeah.
And it was really weird because we haven't really seen someone where people are like, yeah, we really love this person. They were a very good friend of ours, and we didn't know that there was this side to them, and blah, blah, blah. I feel like we haven't seen anyone do that. Obviously, most people are like, oh yeah, that dude's a scumbag. Yeah. Well, totally agree with it. But then
Sarah Silverman did something similar with Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Where she kind of said, I'm kind of caught because how can you, then I think her words were, hey, how can you love somebody that did an awful thing?
Right, yeah. I thought that was really interesting to watch them do and process.
But also I would think now another thing that happened was they had a clip of Katie Couric. She was on another talk show, and the question was, what's the most annoying thing that Matt Lauer does? And she thought for 2 seconds and said, he pinches my butt a lot.
Oh, this is an old clip?
Yeah, an old clip. And jokingly, yeah, he pinches my butt a lot.
Yeah. Which,
at least the way she kind of explained it was something that yeah, everyone knew.
Yeah, it was a joking thing.
I'm not it's something to where I'm like, yeah, Matt Lauer pinches my butt.
Yeah.
And this is the co-host. This is somebody who was powerful in the media that he did this to.
Right.
But yet, again, that they did like. So, yeah, that's an interesting take right there. Now, we'll be right back after this. We'll be talking bar thoughts and experiences. Alex saw a documentary that blew her mind. But again, if you have any takes on this, comment away because we will be reading it later on. But again, I refer to what I just said before. No one's irreplaceable. If you have one of those super cool jobs, just, you know what? Keep it in your pants. My name's Mike Sasson. Keep it in your pants, Sasson. I said Sasson twice.
Ew.
Ew. That's what I'm saying. I just keep it in my pants. Anyways, it's the Mike Sasson Show. We'll be right back on the River's Edge.
Hi, I'm Rob Spear, host of Damn Near Killed Him, an interview show where anything goes.
Once they gave it to me, you could have stuck a telephone pole up my ass.
I was about to be like kicked out of the country.
That's where they send the worst of the worst.
In a psych ward, like normal things seem so weird in there.
He was making $5,000 a month doing gay audiobooks.
Hear some stories from people who have been to the edge and back. Thursday morning at 9 a.m. on riversedgepgh.com or download on iTunes.
I mean, that's like some pretty cool shit.
It is some pretty cool shit. It's the Mike Sasson Show live on Facebook Live or on www.riversedgepgh.com. Hey, listen, make sure you got the best local talk and the best local music here on the River's Edge, so keep listening to that. Or you'll be listening to us on TuneIn Radio all across the planet Earth. Isn't that really freaky?
That's everywhere?
Everywhere. And
everywhere.
We have had some people, we've had reports of people in Europe listening to our show and the Far East. So again, thank you very much to all of those wonderful people for listening to the show. Or you listen to it after the fact on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Google Play. Now, one of the reasons why you do this is because you... Anyways, one of the reasons why you do this poo-poo, anyways, is Alex. She's got her beer. She loves to get her drink on. And she loves to dance. And she loves to tell you about it. Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it.
Doesn't this shirt make me look like a bat? Look.
Kinda. I mean, I don't know about a bat. Makes you look like one of those people, like I saw a clip of someone.
No, I look like a bat.
No, you don't look like a bat. Anyways, there was these people that like they jump off like mountains, and they have like a similar thing like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing that bats do. That's how they fly.
Okay.
I totally look like a bat.
You totally look like a bat.
We found a bat in my store last week.
Dun dun dun.
They're really mean. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, that's why Batman is a vicious.
No, Batman's not a thing, so that doesn't make any sense.
But I mean, like
not real,
but I mean, in terms of like his character, they named him Batman because
vicious.
He is a vicious. He's a vicious.
Hiss at people.
He does hiss at people in some of the early stuff.
Fangs?
He does. He has his utility belt, and probably fangs are in his utility belt.
Doesn't make any sense.
It makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Superheroes are stupid.
Superheroes are not stupid, especially Superman, who I base my life off.
No.
I love Superman.
No.
Batman's cool too.
Spider-Man's the worst.
Why is Spider-Man the worst?
I don't know. Nope, just kidding. Batman's the worst.
Batman is the worst, but Superman's awesome.
Like fly.
He can. He's just a rich guy.
But like what he should fly.
He has a bat jet.
No, but he should be able to fly as a superpower because he's Batman.
Yeah, but he should, but he can't.
He should just be called something else.
I don't know.
Just name him something else.
Is something wrong with the computer or something? Is that playing?
No, calm down.
Okay, well, I'm getting all weirded out.
You're always so worried about everything.
I am worried about everything because I want the high quality of this show to be maintained. Can people see it and stuff like that? Okay, well, I'll keep people interested who are listening to us audioly.
Yeah, I mean, now you're just distracting from my bar thoughts.
Okay, no, I'll do it here. I'll do the tour. I'll do the opening again.
No, don't do the opening again.
Welcome back to the Mike Sasson Show here on the River's Edge. Back with Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex loves to drink. She loves to tell you about what she thinks, and that's why she's Alex with Bar Thoughts and Experiences. Alex, what is your bar thought today?
That was the song.
Pizza.
So I watched this documentary last night, and it kind of some of the things in it blew my mind.
Okay.
It was like one of those documentaries where it's kind of. I definitely could have made it better, maybe, but
because you're an amazing filmmaker.
Sure. So this guy, he basically just got into this relationship, and he was questioning monogamy.
Okay.
And he's like from a super religious Indian household who like wants him to get married like immediately. He's a little older.
So his superpower is the ability to have sex with one woman forever.
No.
Okay.
Documentaries.
Okay.
Remember, superheroes aren't real.
Superheroes are real. Superman's a real guy.
No. So he's like questioning monogamy and stuff, and he goes basically like he talks to all these polygamists, and he talks to all these historians and stuff, and finds out where monogamy came from, and it's super interesting. Like basically, it all started because guys didn't have a surefire way of knowing whose kid was theirs. Because obviously women can.
Yep.
You know? Mm-hmm. They know it's theirs.
Yep.
Because they are holding the baby.
Yep. Because it came out of them.
So that's basically like the whole reason why it started. And then they started whole empires based on basically like the king had so many wives. He was allowed to have so many wives, and then each person under him was allowed to have so many wives until it was like a tier down to the bottom, to where they would just like basically wipe out poor people, because those poor people weren't allowed to have any wives because everyone else had them. But the wives had to be monogamous. And they just like wiped out people like that.
Well, I mean, like you said, that I've heard that essentially something very similar, that monogamy was kind of something to where it was, again, so that the guy would know that that was his son or his daughter, so that he could pass along his, you know, his land, his title, all that other kind of good stuff. So that's why it was important there. Also, it was important in a sense that... No, that was basically it. It was so that he could pass along his title and all that other kind of good stuff. Because if you look at it, like I read an article about like how prehistoric sex was. And if you look at the male and female anatomies, women can have multiple orgasms. Yeah. So like they kind of guess that like back in caveman days, a woman could have like 4 or 5 dudes in a day. And the guy, you know, because the guy would be, you know, shoot his thing, and then he'd have to go take a nap. Whereas the woman could sit there and say, nope, next one, all that kind of good stuff. And actually, in terms of reproducing a species, that's a good thing, because you want, you know, them to keep producing children and stuff like that. So the fact that women have multiple orgasms is a big time thing. And so, Now, another thing that I thought was interesting is I read this week when, you know, kind of the same thing of like how is one of our preconceived notions of sexuality created. They were talking about that in Christianity, like they always bring up, you know, keeping down gay people. It's in the Bible that, you know, that you're not supposed to, a man should not lie with another man. It's against God, all this kind of stuff. But a religious scholar was writing that essentially you have to go back to the time when the Bible was written and the Roman Empire. Yeah. And in the Roman Empire, basically the higher ups, the Romans, felt that they, you know, part of being a Roman was you could have sex with as many people, man and women, as you wanted to. Yeah. And so the slaves, they could just have sex with little boys, they could have sex with their men, they could have sex whatever. And so what the like the Christians and like, you know, Paul and Jesus and all those people were kind of going after wasn't necessarily two, you know, consenting adults having a relationship. It was a Roman, you know, douchebag having sex with a slave or a boy and, you know, abusing him. And so that's why they wrote in the book, like, hey, you shouldn't be lying with a man the same way as you lie with your wife. It's an abomination. Yeah. It wasn't, hey, we're against gayness. It was, hey, we are against you exploiting people that you have power over. Yeah. So it's weird how all that kind of changes, and the same thing with monogamy. Now, well, go ahead.
So my idea is that I'm going to spread the hatred for monogamy, since all of the celebrity DILFs that I like are married. Okay. So I'm going to just try and spread the hate for it, so that, you know, I can be with them.
There you go. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you really think that the celebrity DILFs that you're after are monogamous?
I don't know. I don't know. They seem like good dudes. That's why I like them, you know.
They're in Hollywood.
I think that my list has changed, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Paul Rudd might have moved down a spot.
Whoa, who's now your top celebrity DILF?
I think Adam Scott moved up to #1.
Actually, here's the thing I wanted to tell you.
What? Is he the next scumbag?
Well, not in the sense that he's a scumbag in a sense that he abuses women, but at my sister's wedding, there was there. No, there was a guy who works with him on his show Ghosted.
Oh.
And he was talking.
Is that a good show? Have you watched that?
I haven't. He claims that it's doing well. I
don't really want to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch it either.
Stupid.
But like when you're talking to the guy that writes for the show, you can't sit there and say, "Hey, I heard that stupid. I heard that show's shit." You just kind of go like, "Oh, okay, you're for Ghosted, whatever."
Yeah, yeah.
And so he was talking to me, and he goes, "Yeah, our last day was this past Friday, and there's a
Adam Scott didn't get us anything."
No, okay. Well, I understand you don't want to hear negative news about Adam Scott, but you got to take it. You got to sit there and understand that maybe that your Paul Rudd DILF fantasy should stay at #1. So Adam Scott, he sat there. He's on the show, and the reason why they might not get picked up is because Adam Scott is he says he's a funny actor, but he thinks he's a funny person. So he got the showrunner fired, and he's gotten, like, he wants to make all these massive changes, and like his changes are stupid, but so
he wants to change the show.
He wants to change the show. He wants to change the writer. He already had the showrunner who basically, again, runs the show fired. So, and everyone around the show's like, we can't listen to this guy because he thinks he's a funny person when in reality he's just a funny actor. And because of that, this guy might actually lose his job because Adam Scott has such a huge ego that no one can sit there and say, dude, you're just a funny actor, meaning you read funny lines really, really well. You're not a funny person. Let the funny people write the stuff and this show will work. But he can't. So that's why I'm saying stick with Paul Rudd. I
think they should come up with a better name for showrunner. Seems kind of stupid.
Well, it's what it is.
Yeah, but I know, like, I don't know.
What would you call him?
Something more prestigious.
Well, I mean, I always thought that it would be like, because there's different titles. Like, there's the executive producer, but the executive producer can sometimes not even be at the thing.
Right.
The showrunner is the day-to-day person who runs the show.
It just doesn't sound like as good of a title as what they're doing, you know?
I think it's
like, to me, that sounds kind of shitty. Sounds like some just dude that, like, runs errands or something.
Before I knew what it was, I thought, like, oh, showrunner, like someone who, like, gets coffee.
So they should have a better name.
Executive show run thing guy?
Executive show head honcho.
Honcho. You want the word honcho in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look. Okay. Well, right now you've brought it up. Adam Scott.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd.
I don't
Who
know.
else are your dilfs? Who are your top 5 dilfs that you want to make sure?
We did this.
No, we didn't. We didn't really. I mean, we did a couple.
Yeah, I did an episode where I listed my top 5 dilfs.
Okay,
that was like a legit thing.
But you just said they've changed. Has there been any other additions?
No, I think it goes. I don't know, because you're confusing me about Adam Scott now. There's so many things that I have to go home and think about. I just watched a show that he was in, and he was like an amazing husband, and then he like sang the song at the end. He didn't really sing the song, but like in the show he did.
You realize that's not. You realize that is as real as Superman.
What do you mean?
Well, like him being like a show about him being an amazing husband is the same as basically as real as Superman.
Yeah, but like he's a real person, you know?
But he's a character.
Yeah.
But
still,
it's not.
He might be like a decent person in real life.
Okay, but like that doesn't mean anything. I mean, obviously, Christopher Reeve was a decent person, but he was, he wasn't technically Superman. He couldn't technically fly. He wasn't from the planet Krypton.
Right. I'm not saying that I could have a crush on Superman, but not because he's Superman. Like just because he seems like he'd be a good person in real life and he's attractive.
All right.
You know.
Is Superman a dilf for you?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Oh, that sucks.
Opposite.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Just, not very attractive.
Which one of the Batmans would you say is the most attractive?
None.
None?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't know. Who's all Batman?
Michael Keaton?
No.
George Clooney?
No.
Val Kilmer?
No.
Ben Affleck?
No.
Christian Bale?
Yeah, I would say Christian Bale.
Christian Bale would be your number one Batman dilf.
Number one Batman, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, number one Batman dilf.
Yeah.
If you said that Christopher Reeve was a big-time dilf, I would be so happy, because Christopher Reeve, the 1978 Superman, is one of my favorite movies of all time. Oh. So we've got to get rid of monogamy, is what you're saying. Yeah. You just got to get rid of it.
Bring it back around.
Bring it back around.
Just do away with it. Let's just, have sex with everyone. Just orgies all the time.
But what is the point of getting married if you just kind of just can screw anybody that you want?
Well, I never said to get married.
Okay.
I never said I was going to get married.
Okay. So. Well, so then what is a relationship with a guy? What is it?
It could still be a lot of emotional things.
But you're just like, it's just like, hey, that guy's cool. And then you just kind of go with it and just, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
You should do your own documentary.
Thinking
that should be your documentary. It's called Alex. It's just this.
That's it.
That's it.
People think about things too much.
Yeah. Just, you know what? Hey, you like it, do it, and then just kind of walk away and say, that was cool.
Move on with your life.
Boom. And then watch the 1978 Superman with Christopher Reeve.
No.
Yes, you should. Thank you very much, Alex, for your bar thought and experience.
You're welcome.
By the way, who did you go see with your mother and sister a couple nights ago?
Sundance Head. He won The Voice last year.
That's awesome. I saw you got a picture with him and everything. How was he as a human being?
Really, really nice.
There you go.
Yeah, we went to Station Square at Hard Rock Cafe. My mom and my whole family is obsessed with The Voice. And she really loved him, so we went to go see it. The guy who opened up for him, Yeah, he was a local guy, and he seemed like he was a really great person, and he was like trying to do really great things. But it sounded like if I got on stage and tried to play guitar and sing.
Have you ever tried?
What, sing?
Yeah.
I took singing lessons for 2 years.
How'd you do?
Very, very bad.
Really?
Yeah, I sang at my one singing recital. I sang Time After Time.
Okay.
And it was absolutely horrible, and I cried afterwards. And I also had pink eye while I was doing it.
Okay.
It was a bad experience.
Can you listen to
I
Time
stopped after that.
Can you listen to Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper and not bring it up ever?
Oh, absolutely. I love that song.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't ruin the song for me.
Okay.
Luckily, because it's an amazing song.
Awesome. Well, Congratulations on that. Congratulations on your bar thoughts. Back to the Mike Sasson Show. It is my top 5 takes, and I have a song as well. Let's play it. Again, it's my top 5 takes. Again, this is my bar thoughts and experiences, but I do them completely sober, which makes them, I think, a little bit weirder. Number 1 take: people are as loyal as their options. As I mentioned before last week, we have the silly season right now. A lot of coaches are moving around. For instance, Texas A&M fired their coach. Then Florida State moved over to the guy, Jimbo Fisher, moved over to Texas A&M. UCF's coach was announced that he is now the Nebraska coach during their last game.
What?
Yeah. So, like, during the game, it was like, oh, yeah, the guy who's coaching for that team no longer is the coach for that team. Yeah. He's like, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Peace. And the point I always get is, like, players always like, sit there and go, oh, there's no loyalty. There's no this. There is no loyalty. Stop with the loyalty bullshit.
Well, I mean, it isn't really like they don't really choose those things, right? They just move them around. They're like, oh, you're here now.
Yeah, but the problem is that players can't move around. Players, if they want to leave.
Right, but I mean, coaches, it's not really completely their decision.
Well, it is when they have a contract and they leave. Now, sometimes they get fired.
Right.
And that's always what hangs over their head, which is like, hey, if I want to go to a better job, then I better go now before I get fired so I can make more money, and it's their job and you want to do that. But the problem is during the year and during their time of recruiting, they're always talking about loyalty and discipline and togetherness, and we're a family and we care about each other.
Right. You know, but jobs.
Yeah, money. Yeah. Family. Loyalty.
Yeah.
So guess what? No loyalty. Get over it.
I don't know. I side with them. I think there's loyalty.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a complete lie. Number 4. I don't understand how Chipotle introduces queso and it tastes bad.
Does it taste bad? Did you taste it?
I have not tasted it, but it's already being replaced because of such negative feedback.
Oh, well, that's because it's not as good as Moe's.
Well, okay. Well, then you're Chipotle. You're a giant food company. Shouldn't, before you decide to bring out something like this, you make sure it tastes good?
I had some amazing queso yesterday.
Was it at Chipotle?
No.
Exactly.
I don't go there.
You don't go.
It's too high class for me.
You're a low class lady when it comes to the tacos?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm actually a big fan of like the street tacos, like when you get those and like beach view and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's better taco places that are like one closer to me and less expensive. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not gonna go to Chipotle and spend like $10 to get myself some tacos and not even chips. The hell is that?
But it gets back to how the hell do you charge $10 for tacos? Come out with.
Because I can.
Now I understand, but come out with queso and it doesn't taste real good. Yeah. How does that happen?
I don't know. That chef got fired, I bet.
I hope so. He should get fired forever. He shouldn't be allowed to cook.
How do you even make bad queso?
Apparently they did it. Apparently they did it. They said it was grainy.
Ew.
Exactly.
What do you put in your queso that's grainy?
I don't know.
Maybe they just messed up
I think they did. Well, this brings me to a story. When I was working with Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola wanted to buy Gatorade.
Okay.
Pepsi beat them to it, and they bought Gatorade, so they put a lot of money into Powerade. And so they had this big idea, is like, you know what? Gatorade has calories. We'll come out with Diet Powerade. And so they brought us to this huge ballroom where they were announcing a huge breakthrough that they were going to come out with Diet Powerade.
And they dumped a bunch in your head.
That was almost, they should have done that. We would have enjoyed it better. So we get to the ballroom, and on all our tables right in front of us is a big bottle of Diet Powerade.
Okay.
So they said, don't drink it yet. And they went over for an hour and a half, all of the marketing behind it, all of the thought, all of the, the testing they've done, how this is the greatest thing ever, all the marketing they're going to do, how they're going to get these great athletes to promote it, and blah, 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 blah. And they said, all right, now that we've done this, open up your bottle in front of you and taste Diet Powerade. And we all in unison took it, looked at each other and went, this is going to be great. We're going to make our numbers. And we took one sip and it tasted like syrupy nothing. And we all put it down and nobody took another drink. And we all looked at each other and went, this tastes terrible.
Did anyone say anything? At
the end of the night, I went up to the head of my division and I said, what did you think of Diet Powerade? And he goes, well, they apparently did testing, and I guess the people that would like this would like it. And I go, I think it tastes terrible. And he goes, Mike, you got to understand that millions of dollars has been put into this product. There's no way that they would put all this money into this and it doesn't at least taste good. It's going to be successful. You're going to sell it. You're going to go out to the market tomorrow and sell it.
How long did that last?
About 3 weeks.
Huh.
3 weeks they pulled it from the market because guess why?
It tasted horrible.
It tasted like shit.
I wonder if Chipotle had that same thing. I really just wanted you to say that everyone started throwing up after they drank it because that would have been just beautiful, like a whole ballroom of people just throwing up.
That's a Monty Python sketch.
The guy who created it just crying.
But I don't understand how that happens.
How do you get that far and it's shit?
Yeah.
Just like you said, like people are just lying to people. People are just like, yeah, sure, yeah, that'll work. That's it. And it just keeps going, and they don't have anyone in the company who's willing to stand up and be like, this is shit.
You're really getting onto something because I really do believe that in thinking about it, it is because somebody probably their quarterly job, like someone said, okay, your job is to come up with Diet Powerade.
Yeah.
So they sit there and go, okay, I'll come up with Diet Powerade. And they keep trying and they keep trying. And then someone comes up to them and says, all right, we need Diet Powerade on the market by the end of quarter number 2. And you're like, shit. I don't really.
I've been sleeping this whole time.
Yeah, we've been trying to come up with a 0-calorie sports drink. It tastes like total crap. And they're like, here you go. Here's Diet Powerade.
Best we can do.
Best we can do.
You got it from here.
Yep. But by the way, ironically, now they have Powerade Zero. Not bad. I actually drink it decently.
I don't like Powerade to begin with.
Do you like Gatorade?
Not really, unless I'm like crazy hungover.
Okay.
That's about it.
You just like drink water and booze?
Yeah. Iced tea sometimes.
Iced tea?
Mostly water and booze.
Mostly water and booze. There's it's water and booze. That'll be another podcast you do.
You drink water to stay hydrated. You drink booze to kill all of the bad things.
All the pain inside. There you go. Number 3. Getting mad at Republicans for cutting taxes is like getting mad at bears for shitting in the woods.
Yeah, people are like really upset about this. I don't know what's happening, so I'm very upset.
They're basically they're coming out with a new tax plan that is probably going to hurt poor people, but that's what Republicans do. Like that's what they run on. They're like, we're going to cut taxes. That's what we do. We're Republicans.
Life.
If you didn't like it, why does everyone keep voting? Yeah.
I mean, taxes are going to be shit either way, right?
Yeah, but now they're going to be less shit, but the problem is they're going to have less money for people that don't have a lot, so that's going to suck. But that's why you vote.
Right.
You go vote if you won't vote for guys who say, "Hey, I'm going to raise taxes, but I'm going to give you more stuff." Great. Then that guy wins. But voting. Got to vote. Got to vote, Alex.
Science and stuff.
Science and also Diet Powerade. Number 2, you eventually need a punchline. Anytime I listen to comedians, they always kind of, they will sit there and because I've been at it for a little while, they'll come up to me and go, hey, what do you think? And I try to be very nice and I always will sit there and be like, hey, just keep writing, keep coming out, all that kind of good stuff. But if you really come down to it, sometimes, and you've listened to a decent amount of comedy, one of the things that bothers me is when someone will get up there with total confidence and just tell a story or tell a joke and there's no punchline. There's no funny. It's just like, hey, I went to the store and then the guy said, here's your bag. And you're just like, there's nothing there.
Right.
What's going on? So my advice for today, eventually you need a punchline.
You want to know what the one thing I found out that bothers me
What's
about,
that?
I guess, the comedians that I've watched is sometimes a person will say in their set multiple times, "Oh, this is a new joke I'm working on," like just over and over again, like telling us which every single one is new and which one is old. I'm not really a fan of that. I'd just rather you tell me a joke and I'll judge for myself.
I do hate that as well, because what you're doing is you're trying to defend the reason why it won't go well.
Yeah, if it's funny, then it's funny. Then just, you know, if it's not funny, then
don't do it or work on it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this past week, one of the funniest, I was doing my set, and this week at Scarpace's.
And you just looked at me the whole time, and I felt so awkward, and then you're like, Alex, stop judging me.
Well, you weren't like laughing or smiling. You were kind of just looking at me just like, Like you're almost
smiling.
Like, you were just kind of looking at me like you could do better than this.
Yeah, maybe your jokes weren't funny, Mike.
Well, everyone else seemed to enjoy them.
Well, you know, everyone else doesn't have my same sense of humor.
I know. And this is all, this is the pain, which is my show.
Laughs out of
awkwardness.
Yes.
They're just sitting there going, well, maybe if we laugh, he'll go away.
Yeah.
But then I look at you and you're
but
just.
But it's also awkward. It's really awkward because I feel pressure to laugh when you're just staring at me, you know?
I'm not trying to.
I'm just like, I can't even listen to what you're saying because all I'm thinking about is you staring at me and how I should look.
The reason
maybe
why
just
I
stare
was
at
is
someone
because,
else and then I'll laugh.
Because everybody else was just like really enjoying themselves, and then I looked at you and you kind of had this look of just like, do better. And it was really just kind of like, and I felt bad because I was just like, oh, I'm trying new, again, I didn't say I was trying new stuff, but I was trying new stuff, and I was just like, I'm sorry, Alex, this isn't good enough.
Someone's got to be a critic, Mike. All the things people say to you, they just go right to your head. So someone's got to, someone's got to have that.
Someone's got to keep the
judgment.
Someone's got to judge. Someone's got to make sure that I keep humble. I understand.
Yeah.
And then the final take, as I mentioned before the show started, to myself, to no one else, that that they announced the Final Four for the college football playoff.
No.
It is Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Georgia.
I pick Alabama.
All right, there you go.
No. What's Georgia's colors?
Red and like an off-white.
Can you tell? Wait, isn't that Alabama?
Alabama is the Crimson Tide. They're kind of a purple. So it's red versus purple.
Red.
Well, it's more of a purpley red.
Like a maroon.
Yeah.
Okay. But okay, so
it's Clemson Tigers,
okay.
Alabama Crimson Tide, Georgia Bulldogs, Oklahoma Sooners.
Shit. I don't know. It's between Georgia and Alabama. I think they're going to end up in the last game.
Okay. And then who would you face off against? Who would you pick between a Crimson Tide, which is like they usually have an elephant, or a Georgia Bulldog?
They have an elephant?
They have like a pretend elephant. They don't have an actual elephant. You want them because you like elephants?
Yeah.
Not even like a cute. They have a little bulldog for Georgia.
Bulldogs are stupid.
Okay, Bulldogs are stupid, and you're going Georgia, saying nope. Alex wants the Alabama Crimson Tide. Place your bets right now. Go Crimson Tide. Just say Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yep, that's what you do. All right, but Ohio State didn't get in. They're the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's a seed. Anyways, they didn't get in, and Kirk Herbstreit, who went to Ohio State, was so distraught that he left the set on ESPN when they announced that Alabama had gotten in over Ohio State.
Really?
Yes. And so here's my point. It doesn't matter. We're all going to die.
Wait.
Just enjoy the games. Go from there.
What is it based on then?
It's a committee who decides, like, Alabama didn't win their conference, and so they thought Ohio State would get in, but Ohio State had 2 losses, Alabama had 1, so deciding between who had the better record as opposed to who won their conference, they decided to go with the team that had more games. Decisions.
I'm surprised those people aren't dead.
They might be now. If they go to Columbus, Ohio, they'll be dead.
Okay.
Well, don't go to Columbus, Ohio. Not tough. Anyway, something else that is going to happen in Columbus, Ohio, you can listen to this show because we're going to come back with news and notes from the world of sports, entertainment, and all sorts of stuff. Guess what? Amazon did something weird today. Also, Waffle House, some guy came in, did something, and Arnie Hammer apparently has testicles. It's the Mike Sasson Show. We will be right back.
Go, it's green. Come on. Go.
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down with the road rage.
I'm sick of these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You got to calm down on the road rage.
Well, I'm on where? I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water,
Bicycle Heaven,
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck Knob,
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
Right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. You know, I got to keep going. I'm not going to sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to The Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
Again, thank you for listening to the River's Edge Radio Network. It is the Mike Sasson Show. You are listening to it on www.riversedgepgh.com or on TuneIn Radio, or you're watching live on Facebook Live, or you are listening on one of the many podcast formats, either iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. Guess what? My name's Mike Sasson. That is Alex Clemens. And right now we have news and notes from the world of sports, entertainment, and weirdness. News and notes. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
News and notes. Time after time.
Makes me want to go surfing, right?
Yeah, surfing USA. Time after time. I'm such a good singer. I should sing time after time more
Yeah, you
often.
should. Probably be better than mine.
There you go. Anyways, it's news and notes from the world of sports, entertainment, and weirdness. A lot of people getting packages. It's the Christmas holiday season. People are going on the eBay, the Amazon.
I've been getting loads of packages.
Loads of packages. Bow, 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 wow. Was that a sexual innuendo?
Maybe.
Alex. Anyway, so in Sacramento, California, a woman received a package from Amazon, and then apparently she videotapes the outside of her house. And to her dismay, when she came home from work, she had a package from Amazon and a giant shit. Someone had taken a giant poop on her front lawn. She wondered what had happened, so she looked at the video from out front of her house, and it turns out that the delivery driver for Amazon had delivered her package and then hid behind his, actually it was her truck, and took a big wet shit.
Where else are you going to take a shit?
I don't know, possibly a convenience store, maybe not on someone's front lawn.
Also, why is this delivery driver driving a U-Haul truck?
Because apparently they're hiring people for the holiday season, and so they're not like an official like Amazon person.
Who has the money to rent a U-Haul truck every day just to deliver Amazon packages?
Apparently this woman did, but she doesn't know that she's supposed to go to the bathroom not on someone's lawn.
I don't know. Is that in the Amazon policy? Like, I feel like it probably hasn't happened before. It hasn't been brought up, so they haven't had a rule about it. So
now,
why
let me
not?
ask you a question. If you they always sit there and say like a 2-day package, a 3-day, like you pay certain rates. Would you pay for an extra quarter to make sure someone says it doesn't take a dump on your front porch?
I think it'd be funny.
Okay, you'd be like, I'll take the quarter. But here's the thing. Now so
washes away. Rain.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. But it's Sacramento. They're in the middle of the desert. Things don't happen. So what happened was she contacted Amazon and said, hey, someone took a dump on my porch, and I have proof that it was someone who works for you. The guy came to her house, saw and went, yep, you're right, and gave her an Amazon gift card to say, sorry, someone took a giant dump on your front porch.
How much was the gift card?
$25.
Nope.
How much would you ask?
$6,000.
$6,000? I would say 100 and clean up the dump.
Yeah, maybe clean it up. I don't know. It's not, get a hose.
Hose.
Spray it off.
Spray it off. But let me ask you a question. If you were, maybe you know that this is the person who delivered your package later in the day, would you be a little weirded out that, hey, you took a dump on the front porch of some guy?
I would totally do it.
You would totally take a dump on someone's front porch?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was more in the street, not necessarily her yard.
Where is the weirdest place you've ever taken a dump?
I've never taken a dump anywhere weird, but I have peed in a plastic bag in a car.
Okay.
And I was driving. Well, I wasn't driving, sorry. I was in the passenger seat. I was very drunk.
Okay.
That's why I wasn't driving.
That's surprising.
The person driving was not drinking.
Okay.
And there was someone in the back seat. That doesn't matter. But anyways, we were getting very drunk, and we were driving through the city. And at this time, I didn't know the city very well. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh my God, I have to pee so bad. And we couldn't find anywhere to pull over. Like, I could have pulled on the side. I would have had to like pee on a sidewalk in the middle of downtown. Mm-hmm. I didn't really want to do that. So there's a plastic bag in my car. So I put the handles of the plastic bag around my legs and peed into the bag. totally worked fine.
Okay.
Good idea on my part. Also, my legs must have been really skinny because I've tried this since then and it didn't work.
Well.
So I peed in the bag. Everything was cool. No holes in the bag, which I didn't even check beforehand.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah. So then there's also our friends were driving behind us. So I didn't want to just have a bag of pee in my car, so I decided to throw it out the window. Yeah, it didn't work. It just spilled everywhere.
So you really essentially did pee on the sidewalk. You just...
Well, I basically peed all in my car, and I had to clean it up.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, how long did it take to get the smell out?
The pee smell? Not that long.
Okay.
But my pee was orange. Yeah.
Where did that come from? What were you drinking?
I was taking this medicine, and it turned my pee orange, and so it was really hard to get out of my carpets. I don't actually think it actually completely came out.
Well, make sure the next person who is someone else driving that car currently?
No, it's gone forever.
Okay. It's probably,
it's crushed somewhere.
Okay. And now the orange crush is gone. Anyways, so my most recent pee story was I was coming back from a comedy show and I was depositing my check at one of the banks, because you can do that now with the check and in the ATM
I thought you were
and stuff
gonna say
like
you're
that.
depositing your pee.
I was depositing my pee at the bank because I need to keep it. It's in the safety deposit box.
Absolutely.
Which you actually can do because no one's supposed to check. So you can, if you want to, deposit pee in a safety deposit box.
How do you do that? How do those work?
You just walk in and say, I need to get to my safety deposit box, and the person just walks in and they kind of leave you alone, and then you can put whatever you want in there.
No way.
Yep.
I want one of those.
Yeah, go up to a bank and say, I want a safety deposit box.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah, do that.
Do you have one?
No.
What do you... Oh, okay.
But you can get one.
I'm going to get one.
Okay, just go up to your local bank and say, I'd like a safety deposit box.
Store some really weird shit in
there. You go.
Just a bunch of poop.
Okay.
Do you think it would start smelling?
Probably. Just make sure it's in a sealed thing.
No, I want it to smell.
Okay, and so you'll make the whole bank smell.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That, just so you understand the level of comedy that I have as working as a co-host. So I was coming back. I was at the bank. I deposited my check. I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm in like in a plaza. It's deserted. I'm thinking, okay, I'll just go off to the woods. I'll take a piss.
The bank didn't have a bathroom?
Well, it was like 12 at night. It was
okay.
just, I couldn't, whatever. So I'm going off to the woods, whatever, and all of a sudden I see out of the corner of my eye a cop. And I'm like, I have to get in my car, whatever. So I get in my car and I'm starting to drive away, and then the cop basically like gets out of his car and he's all being all cop-like, like, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah. And he just and I think I'm like, should I drive away? What's going on? So eventually I'm like, crap, I didn't really do anything illegal. He sat there, he goes, what are you doing here? And I go, I was just depositing my check. I go, why were you over there? And I go, I needed to go to the bathroom, but I didn't go to the bathroom. And he goes, oh, is that all you're doing? And I go, yeah. He goes, oh, go take a piss if you need to take a piss. And I'm like, what did you think I was doing? And he's like,
murdering women.
He's like, yeah, he thought it was like dumping bodies or like throwing drugs into the stream or something like that. And I'm like, now I don't have to go to the bathroom. So like I just drove away. And I'm just like, you're the one who made it come back in.
You probably peed your pants because he scared you so bad.
He did. He's like all cop-like. So,
you should be a cop. You're good at that, yeah.
I shouldn't. I don't know.
Oh.
Here would be my cop thing. I'd just be like, whatever.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Speaking of someone who did whatever they wanted, gentlemen, Alex Bowman of West Columbia, South Carolina, couldn't get to sleep, was a little drunk, so he decided to go where drunk people go in the South, the Waffle House. So he walks into the Waffle House, that's 24 hours, opens the door, complete silence.
Oh, no.
He's sitting there going, oh my God, did I just get on like a murder scene? What the hell's going on? So he walks in, sees a couple people that are supposed to be working there sleeping in one of the like back tables. So he figures, it's like 3 in the morning, let them sleep. He goes in the back, starts whipping up his own food, whips himself up a patty melt with bacon, everything like that, starts taking pictures of it, and you see those pictures are there, puts $5 on the table and says that's how much a patty melt is, and walks out. Now the problem is that he put it on Facebook and said, hey, this is what I did. I made my own food at the Waffle House. Aren't I a cool guy? And the people who were supposed to be working have been suspended for a week because apparently you're not supposed to go to sleep on your job.
What?
And but here's my thing. I think that's a business idea. Why not like open up a place to where like you're drunk? it's in college places, anything like that, and you walk in and they've got food, they got eggs, they got bacon, they got meat, whatever.
Yeah.
They have one person there just to make sure that you don't hurt yourself, or you have to sign a release and say, hey, if you burn yourself, you're an idiot, whatever. And you have a grill and you make your own stuff.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a cool idea.
Oh, so have you ever been to a Waffle House?
I haven't. I should go.
I could tell by the story.
Okay.
You don't go. The kitchen's right there. It's not in the back.
I understand, like, it's not in the back, but I mean, it's like it's like how a Denny's is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting around the kitchen and they like yell orders in front of you. You should really go to a Waffle House. It's a good experience. But you have to go to the right one.
Yeah, but they're in the South, right?
No, there's one like in like Washington, PA.
That's too South for me. Anyways, I personally believe that like that's a good business idea.
Yeah, do it.
Don't even hire cooks.
Everyone about
don't even hire cooks. Just have people walk in, make their own stuff. Speaking of someone that should make their own stuff, Armie Hammer, who is in a big-time movie this year, might win a lot of Oscars. It's called Call Me By Your Name. Had an interesting thing happen. Do you know who Armie Hammer is?
No.
But okay, big-time movie star. He was in the Social Network. He was the Winklevoss twins. Remember those two tall guys?
Sure, yeah.
They just did two of them. He was that guy. So,
what?
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was, it's a movie about a love affair between him and this like teenage boy during like Italy back in the 80s.
Oh.
So it's in the 80s. So what are they wearing? They're wearing the short shorts.
Yes.
So guess what was coming out of the bottom?
Oh no.
His nuts.
That sounds beautiful.
But the problem is that the movie then eventually, when they looked at like the dailies, they went, oh no, we've got like 10 scenes with him where we're seeing his nuts.
Shucks.
So they had to go to the special effects department.
Is he wearing underwear?
Apparently, I guess boxers. I don't know. So, but they could see his testicles. So they had to hire special effects people to take his ball sack out of certain scenes.
How the crap didn't anyone notice that?
That's my point.
Where was the showrunner?
That's where the showrunner should run the show. But okay.
Wow, he's pretty.
Yeah, so, okay, that man is wearing short shorts.
And he's got nice balls.
And he's probably got decent balls. You're sitting there. You're working on the set. Here's what I don't understand. I've been on movie sets. These people don't make up their own clothes. These don't do anything. There's not one female or gay guy on the set that didn't look at this guy's balls.
Yeah, that's all I would have been looking at.
And didn't notice that his balls were hanging out?
Or maybe just didn't want to say anything because it's hilarious.
Okay, just be honest. Was it hilarious or was it hot?
Both.
Okay, so
hilarious that no one noticed and then it just went on for a long time. Great that his nuts were hanging out.
Has anyone ever worn like real tight shorts and you've seen his balls coming out?
I've never seen this.
Okay, so this is obviously
I've never seen shorts that short, like a guy wears shorts that short and like, great.
Yeah, but it's the 80s. That's just how people wore stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I want someone nowadays to be wearing shorts that short.
But that, again, it comes back to the point of I can't believe one person didn't sit there and stop him and sit there and go, hey,
especially
Arnie's
the
balls.
Wardrobe person.
Yeah, the wardrobe person had to have seen that his nuts were hanging out.
But maybe they just slipped. I
don't know. But like, so much that they actually had to get like the special effects people involved. Like there was a guy
if that's your job for like a week.
Yeah,
you gotta get this nice nuts out of here.
There's somebody who had to probably took him $100,000 to buy enough special effects to get the nuts out of there.
There must have not been enough squirrels around.
Ha ha! There you go, comedian extraordinaire. Speaking of testicles, in Norway, they're a little bit more liberal when it comes to sex education than in America.
No.
And one of the things that was shown this week was they showed, this is for kids. This is for, the target audience is 8-year-old kids. They had live nude models. The person who was doing the sex education, and we have the picture of it, was like playing with breasts, showing how to give oral sex to both men and women, talking about like, puberty, all this kind of stuff, but doing it with live models and everything like that. A lot of people in America were like, oh my God, I can't believe that Norway would do this. And also, there's the picture, everything like that. Now, I talked to a bunch of parents. I said, to be perfectly honest with you, to me, this is what sex education should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, a picture or something. It should be like, all right, here's a penis, here's a vagina, this is what happens, go for it, this is what it is, and be completely blunt about it.
Yeah.
Take the mystery out of it. And they were all just like, oh no, I want to be able to be the one that tells my daughter or my son about this and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You don't even know what it is. You're going to screw up your son just like your dad screwed up you. What is your opinion about this? When you,
I definitely agree with you in the fact that I think that we should like show like, hey, this is this and this is. I feel like a diagram will never be able to, you know, show you exactly what you need to. I don't know about like showing how oral sex works and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it depends on how old those children are, I guess. Maybe a little later.
I don't know. Norway, they might be already like 6 feet tall.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I want anyone like showing me that. Then it kind of ruins, you know, like the mysticism, like the first time, you know.
You don't want like the first time you see a penis to be like in school?
No, I mean I would definitely be okay with seeing it, but like not. I don't want to like see people have sex before I have sex and like ruin it. You know, like ruin what's supposed to happen.
But
like,
you gotta make sure
figuring stuff out. I feel like that's the whole fun. You figure stuff out. I don't know. I was thinking actually about how my mom brought it up to me. And I can't really remember what she even talked to me about or if it even helped my life at all. There
was a good chance you were drunk already.
No. I don't think so. That was like a year before I started getting drunk, you know?
There you go. There you go. That's the now I'm thinking there should be like the Wonder Years music and some like then Alex who got drunk for the first time. It was 9 years old. It was a tough day.
Yeah.
Speaking of sex education and Christmas holiday season, a new fashion for bad sweaters. Like you have the bad sweater party.
Yeah.
With the,
which is stupid.
Which is stupid, but someone is putting a little bit of a sexy spin on it. There are now women who are coming out with, again, it's called the booby bad sweater. You can see the picture. Essentially, it's the boob is coming out of the sweater. And so you put little like reindeer things on it and you make it like Santa Claus or Rudolph or whatever, or Frosty the Snowman. And this is kind of what women are kind of being fun about it. There's a couple pictures of some fun ladies with their boobs hanging out with all the Christmas holiday cheer. So, Alex, someone comes to your holiday party wearing this. Are you like, oh my God, that's so original and so great? Or what the hell are you doing with your boobs hanging out?
One, not original. One, two, I wouldn't care if their boob was out. That's fine. But I'm not doing that. I'm not gluing shit to my nipple. My God.
You're saying it's not original,
that's horrible.
Though? But you're saying not original?
No, clearly not, because all these other people are doing it already.
But I mean, like, if this is the year to do it.
Technically, if you're going to an ugly sweater party, it's not an ugly sweater. You know?
Well, it's an ugly
boob hanging out of a normal sweater.
Well, I mean, I think it's an ugly sweater outside of the boob hanging out. I think
ugly sweater things are just stupid to begin with.
Okay.
Just wear whatever you want. Just let's celebrate Christmas. But we got to bring ugly sweaters into this.
And boobs.
Yeah.
Just keep the boobs away.
No, we can keep those.
We can keep the boobs.
We'll keep them at the party, yeah.
We'll keep those boobs aflame.
Maybe we should start a new Christmas song.
There you go.
The Mike Sasson Show Christmas song.
Silver boobs.
Should we do like a whole animated Christmas show?
I want there to be some. We should have some sort of Christmassy type thing to celebrate the holiday season. I'm going to be wearing this, basically.
Yeah, but, I guess a Santa hat.
We have a Santa hat that fits my giant head.
Oh, Santa's head is big.
I bet you it's not. I bet you he's normal size. He's just fat. He's not like big, like Jack dude like me. Like he's not 6'4".
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't fit through the chimneys and stuff.
Doesn't make any sense. He can't fit through the chimneys because he's fat, not because he's tall. You would still be able to fit through a chimney if you're tall.
Not if you're like big. I got broad shoulders. I wouldn't be able to fit through the chimneys.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so no one with the bad sweater boobs. This was a anniversary today.
What?
25 years ago today, the first text message was sent.
Aw.
And do you know what it was?
No.
Merry Christmas.
Aww.
That was the first text message. It was sent over in England. Some guy from his computer. He sent it to that guy right there. And we have the picture there. And the first text ever was Merry Christmas.
Why the fuck doesn't that guy look happy? He just received the first text.
Well, he received it 25 years ago. Now he's just like, meh, yeah. Okay. Do you remember the first time you ever text?
No.
You don't? I do.
I was like 2.
You were not 2.
I was like 12.
Okay. Did you own the phone?
Yes.
Okay, so you got your first phone when you were 12 years old.
Maybe I was 13. I don't know, somewhere around there.
All right. And did you immediately text or did someone have to show you?
No, I think I immediately just figured it out. That's what you do. Figure stuff out.
Because I got my first phone when it was, again, now I'm going to show how old I was. I was working for Coca-Cola and it was It was back in 2000. And this is, again, how old I was. Initially, when we started working, they gave us beepers.
Yeah, obviously.
And so what would happen would be you'd get a message, and it would just be a phone number. And eventually you'd learn which one was your boss's phone number, what was your buddy's phone number. And you'd have to go to like a convenience store, and you'd have to call, and you had a calling card and all this kind of shit. Now, eventually I got my first cell phone. And on it, you could text. And I remember getting the first text from one of my buddies, and I was just so kind of incensed of like, why don't you just call me? What do you mean? Like, oh, you know, LOL, kiss my ass. And I'm just like, just call me if you have something to say. And I had to have someone explain to me why exactly texting is easier than a phone call. Because I figure phone call is, oh, yeah, cool, boom. Instead of sitting there, because again, it's back when it wasn't an all keyboard. You had to be like A. Oh, I had to say use the C. So oh, C, oh, capital C, all that kind of stuff.
I was really good at it.
I know, my brother is too. My brother had a flip phone until like 5 years ago, and he was like super good at it. And so again, it was tough for me because I'm like, oh, this is taking forever. So I would just call people, and then eventually it got to the point of like calling people is insulting. And I remember the first time, and it was maybe like a year later, when my boss actually did call me, and all he said was like, call me back. And I'm like, that should have been a text.
Yeah.
And I remember that moment, I was just like, oh, I've completely flipped. Because that's where I was a year ago. Now I'm at the point where, hey, if you call me, I'm now insulted. And if you leave a voicemail, then I'm really pissed at you. Like, the only reason why you would leave a voicemail is because, like, you have to, it's like an urgency. Like, you're sitting there going, okay, I literally need to talk to you.
Or if you don't know who's calling.
Yeah. Well, even a text, you can sit there and say, hey, this is Mike, but, you know, Sasson, please, whatever.
Not if it's like business related.
I don't know. You don't text people business-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have to call them and leave a voicemail.
I know. And then it sucks because I'm like sitting there going, this is a bore. Anyway, so that was 25 years ago today. Now, also today, they came out with a study that finally solved one of the biggest mysteries of life. Who are smarter?
Me.
Dogs or Alex? No. Dogs or cats? Who are smarter?
Neither. They're animals.
Okay. Between dogs and cats, which one is smarter?
I don't know. I want to say dogs, but I feel like you're just going to say no.
Guess. Between dogs.
I guess dogs then.
You are correct. Dogs are actually smarter than cats. Here's how they figured it out. A researcher at Vanderbilt University counted.
Who talked to dogs?
Was able to talk to dogs. That's what he was doing. And they also counted the number of cortical neurons in the brains.
Naturally.
And dogs have about 530 million of those neurons. Cats only have 250 million.
Dumbos.
So cats, the way they act, like they're always kind of like, I don't even want to be here.
Hoity-toity.
Yeah, all hoity-toity, is because they're just complete fucking morons. And by the way, in comparison,
that's what we do, right?
Yeah, human beings have 16 billion.
Wow.
So that's how much smarter we are than dogs.
Then that comparatively, dogs don't seem that much more stupid than us.
Yeah. But yeah, they're both dumb. But I mean, compared to the two, dogs are smarter than cats. And you know who's also smart as a dog? They tested other animals. Raccoons.
Aww.
Raccoons are actually as smart. They're the size of cats, but as smart as dogs. Right. So there you go. Now,
are all dogs the same smart?
I think so. You're saying like a bigger dog might have more. I think dogs in general are
just
about
like
the same.
different breeds.
I would say that. Finally, we'll have two more stories. Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada, and apparently is becoming.
That's who he is.
There he is.
It's like, I know that guy.
He is apparently a heartthrob of the world, and they've come out with a calendar, basically like a heartthrob calendar for Justin Trudeau.
Hey.
There you go. And some Canadians are kind of pissed off because they're like, hey, this guy is the leader of our country. Even though he's a decent looking guy, you shouldn't make him into a heartthrob.
But why not?
But why not? So point blank.
Is this my Christmas present?
Do you want it to be your Christmas present?
Sure. Why not?
But do you think it undermines the fact that he is actually a world leader that happens to be a decent looking dude?
No, I think we can celebrate all aspects of him, right?
Well, then you get to the old thing of like, okay, if you did the same thing with a female world leader who happened to be attractive, then everyone would be like, oh, why don't you respect your mind? And
maybe on the calendar they should like have the great picture of him, and then underneath, like as the caption, put something great that he's done as a leader, just to celebrate both parts.
He has great pecs and he has fed homeless people.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. And you could do the same thing with female leaders, where it's like, that almost goes back to like Playboy, like centerfolds, where you're like, she feeds the homeless and she has wonderful boobs.
Yeah. Maybe like do one of like her feeding homeless and then one of her
What
boobs.
if she was feeding the homeless nude?
If she does that, sure.
There you go. See, idea people, we figure everything out. Finally, as I mentioned before, Titanic, big time movie. And James Cameron was doing some kind of like promotion for Titanic, and someone asked him, because there's always this big controversy that people like look into, like the ending when she's on like the door.
Yeah.
And Jack
it's actually not a door.
Or whatever.
It's a piece of debris.
A piece of debris, whatever. But I think at one time was a door. Who knows? It's a piece of wood that's floating in the Atlantic. So she's on the door, and people always sit there and say, well, why didn't they just have Jack go on the piece of wood so he would have been saved? Why did she hog up the entire piece of wood? This is crap. She's a bad person, all this other kind of stuff. So this week, someone asked James Cameron during an interview point blank, why did Jack Dawson have to die? Couldn't they have saved him? Couldn't they have done such? And James Cameron finally said, this is why Jack Dawson had to die. Because it was a fucking movie and Jack Dawson had to die.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been a good movie otherwise.
He really did say, he goes, because if he would have lived, then the whole point of the movie being that the tragedy of the event, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. If they would have lived happily ever after, it would have completely changed your life.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have watched it a million times. You watch it once and be like,
oh,
right.
They lived.
Yeah, okay.
They had family.
Then you go on with your life. You want to watch it like 16 million times.
Yeah, they moved they moved to Toledo. He became a mailman.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, who gives a shit? So the reason why Jack Dawson had to die, the reason why he didn't get on the piece of wood was because it's a fucking movie.
And they wouldn't have had that whole part with Rose when she's old, you know, and you know?
I know. And what if he would have lived and turned out to be a jerk?
No, he wouldn't have been.
He wouldn't have been a jerk?
No.
He would have turned out to be a wonderful human being?
Yes.
What if he had just gotten fat and been like, hey, I remember when I saved your ass on Titanic, and now now you told these kids to shut up, and I'm trying to cook my pork chops and boo-ba-doo-ba-doo.
Well, I always just imagine that it's like actually Leonardo DiCaprio, you know? Mm-hmm. And like he would have just been how Leonardo DiCaprio is now.
Which is what?
Dad bod, you know?
Dad bod, hanging out with 22-year-old models?
Yeah. Not a shitty person, just does what he wants.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they like did this week. I didn't add it in because it just happens every other week. He has another friend.
Of course he does.
Who's a 22-year-old beautiful blonde.
Why am I not
model.
one of these friends?
It's not.
I want some of that dad bod.
Not 6 foot, not a blonde model living in New York. Yeah. So, but I mean, like, I don't understand how you become like. I can't imagine like talking to like this mom. I can't imagine like she's sitting there going, "Yeah, this is what I would do with taxes."
How do you know she's not smart? You don't.
I don't. You're right. I don't. Just like I don't know that Justin Trudeau isn't a dumbass. Maybe the only thing good about him is his pecs.
No.
You're saying he's got more at him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a lot behind those pecs.
There you go. You know what else has a lot behind my pecs? Me, and the fact that we will answer all of the comments with the final segment of the show. Comment your ass off.
Say hello to the world. Say hello to the villain.
All right, we have 2 comments this week.
Okay.
One is from Sam. He says, hi.
There you go. Thank you. Hi, Sam.
Michael also explained the concept of Die Hard to me. He says, Die Hard is an action movie that happens to happen during Christmas. And some people think it's a Christmas movie, and I don't really care because I hate all Christmas movies anyways.
You hate all Christmas movies?
Yep.
Why?
Well, I don't think any of them are that good.
I do agree that basically, like, here is the general gist of all Christmas movies. Oh no, there's not going to be a Christmas. Wait!
There is.
There's going to be a Christmas.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, there's going to be a Christmas. So I would agree that that's going to be something that we're going to have to work on. So that's the first one. What's the second one?
I just said both of them.
Okay, whatever. I was kind of not listening. Anyways, so
wow, that's the whole part of the segment, Mike, is that we listen.
We did listen, and thank you very much.
I listened, guys. Don't worry.
I listened.
I mean, that's why you watch anyways.
And you know one of the reasons why you should also listen is this Friday.
What do you got going on, Mike? What is it?
Let me make sure I have the date right. Because then we're going to edit this and we're going to make this into a promotion for the later in the week.
You know what I'm doing this weekend?
What are you doing this weekend?
Getting drunk.
Getting drunk? Cool. I like getting drunk. All right, so it's going to be me, Alex DePula, James J. Hamilton, and...
Whoa.
Yeah. It's going to be...
blew my pants off.
Blew your pants off. It's called Pittsburgh's Finest. It's with me, James J. Hamilton, Alex DePula, with Scott Israel. It's going to be at the Ramada Inn, Greensburg, in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, December 8th at 8 o'clock. Come see us, Pittsburgh's Finest. Again, me, James J. Hamilton, Alex DePula. Again,
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock. Tell people.
You did really blow my pants off with that.
3 great comics. How about that?
2, yeah.
I mean, 3. I mean, obviously, Scott's pretty good, too. So, I mean, you got 3.
So, there's, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to be like there screaming into a microphone.
Where's Greensburg?
Greensburg.
Where's that? What's that thing?
Where's Greensburg? It's in Greensburg. Again, December 8th, 8 o'clock. James J. Hamilton, me, Scott Israel.
What's the place called?
It's at the Ramada Inn.
Oh, like a hotel?
Yeah, it's at a hotel ballroom.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's big time.
All right.
Again, there's the poster.
We'll get crazy drunk, and then we can just stay at the Ramada.
Boom. I'm going to send you this. We're going to do that. Again, thank you very much to Scott for doing that.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Again, it's going to be great. December 8th. Hang out for a great night of comedy. Again, we will see you next week. Again, December 8th is this Friday. So this Friday in Greensburg, it's going to be me, James J. Hamilton, Alex DePula at the Greensburg Ramada Inn. So come and see us, 8 o'clock, $10 tickets, and then eventually it might cost more. I don't know how the economy works. My name's Mike Sasson. It's the Mike Sasson Show. Come see me then, or come see me every week on this show. Keep listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com for the best local talk, local music, and local just flavor. It's just local flavor. Local flavor. Again, my name's Mike Sasson. Alex DePula is not here. That is Alex Clemens. So many Alexes.
If only I had that mustache, though.
Yeah, you did. You'd love that mustache. Anyways, that's Alex Clemens. Thank you very much. And see you next week. Bye.